Okay, this is huge.
Your girl Rogue is ready for action.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger. Ladies and gentlemen, the folks over at Marvel Rivals just dropped an absolutely incredible amount of news onto us, whether it be the reveal and details for the brand new hero joining with Season 5.5, Rogue, of course. We got all the information for that character along with her brand new skin. Additionally to that, we got another skin revealed that we'll talk about as well. That will be debuting with Thursday's update. We've got the brand new balance patch notes, which changes the game completely. Some characters are getting nerfed, some characters are getting buffed. That is definitely most certainly important to talk about. We've got new team-ups, removed team-ups, and we even have a lot of leaks to talk about, including a brand new Twitch drop that is on the way, a brand new event titled Seeds of the Gardener, new skins that got leaked, and in addition to that, even an exciting variant for Loki as well. Now, of course, before we get into all the news, you guys know the drill. Take a quick moment, leave a like. Thank you guys so very much for your kindness and your continued support. This is going to be a big one, so go ahead and grab your favorite snack, your favorite beverage, sit down, and get ready for a full and complete breakdown so that you're fully caught up on everything Marvel Rivals Season 5.5.
Better watch out. I'm feeling a little touchy today.
So yes, indeed, let's kick things off with Rogue. She is, of course, the brand new character that will be joining Marvel Rivals' roster with Season 5.5, and she has been officially confirmed to be a Vanguard. So for all of you who were beating that drum saying like, man, oh man, we need more Vanguards, we need more supports or strategists, you're happy probably because Season 5 features, of course, a strategist in the form of Gambit, and now Season 5.5 gives us a Vanguard. So no duelists in sight, so that is definitely a massive W. Now, as far as other details that were revealed for Rogue herself, she definitely looks like she's going to be kind of a game-changing character in the sense that this is our very first character that is able to steal abilities from the other heroes. Now, I have seen people kind of run rampant with this particular reveal saying, oh, so she can just steal any move. That is not the case. There's very specific moves that it seems like she's going to be able to, quote unquote, steal from other heroes. It's also interesting that during the reveal for Rogue in the dev diary, they specifically say may steal moves, which kind of to me implies that it is not going to be something that will be consistently available, but more so maybe there's like a percentage chance that she would be able to do so, or maybe they're talking about the fact that she will only be able to perform that ability of stealing abilities only against a certain pool of characters. So that's something to keep in mind. We did learn some other details, like the fact that she will be a melee character, so that is definitely pretty dang cool. She will have 675 HP as her base, so obviously a pretty tanky character indeed. And another thing that, of course, is pretty dang revolutionary is the fact that her ultimate ability will be draining the ultimate energy of her opponents, which is super duper cool. So definitely seems like she should be a very meta-defining hero that will change up how we play the game in a substantial way, just in the sense that we finally have a character that can steal moves, but not only that, her ultimate will be draining the ultimate charge from her opponents, allowing her to slow down how quickly you're able to get your ult, or maybe even sometimes save her team from you being able to actually hit your ultimate. So that is definitely pretty dang exciting and cool to see. I'm also extremely curious to see if we get a confirmation whether or not she'll be able to, quote unquote, drain your ultimate charge if you've already collected it fully, meaning that, like, let's say you're at 100% and you have your ult, and then she hits her ultimate. Does that then drop down to, I don't know, let's say 70% of the way there or 30% of the way there? We'll see the actual, obviously, mathematics of the whole thing and how she will impact the game on that front. But at least from a game design perspective, she certainly sounds quite intriguing. And yes, I'm sure a lot of people will find that skin quite intriguing as well. This is, of course, the brand new Savage South, or the Savage Land inspired version of the one and only Rogue. She will be debuting in the shop the same day as Season 5.5 debuts, so you'll be able to go ahead and add this one to your collections. The good news is that this one is only an epic rarity skin, which means that you will only need to go ahead and drop 1,600 units in order to be able to add that one into your collections. And finally, when it comes to the topic of Rogue, let's talk about her team up ability, because she will actually be joining to an existing team up that we already have. We of course have something called Explosive Entanglement, which currently sees the team up of Gambit and Magneto. Well, starting with Season 5.5 and the debut of Rogue, she'll be joining that team up as well. Now, as far as her unique ability that she will be gaining as a result of this team up, she basically is going to do kind of a more of a AoE attack. I mentioned before earlier in the video that she is a melee character, but with this new team up ability, it seems like her punches and her kicks gain a bit more of an AoE area of effect damage. So that is pretty dang cool. But in addition to that, if you happen to be an ally of hers and you're in her vicinity, it will actually heal you. So that sounds like a pretty powerful boost, especially for a tanky character like Rogue. And you know what? Since we're on the topic of team-ups, let's carry on with that theme. So, we have a removal of a team-up, which is titled a Mental Projection. This is, of course, the current team-up between Emma Frost and Psylocke, but fear not, both of those characters will actually be joining other team-ups instead. So first and foremost, we have Emma Frost, who will be joining Chilling Assault, which of course, as of right now, is a team up between Iron Fist and Luna Snow. So now, after Season 5.5 debuts, we will have Emma as part of that fray as well. Now, I have to say, I haven't really heard people talk about this one all that much, but I think it looks really, really promising. She gains this kind of like Frost Wall ability, which almost to me resembles a little bit kind of Groot-like elements. It also seems like you're going to be able to like knock enemies into that Frost Wall, so it seems pretty dang powerful. So I'm kind of surprised that so few people seem to be really harping on this new team up, but I think if you're an Emma Frost player and if you have a Luna Snow player to go ahead and team up with you, you should be extremely excited. And then when it comes to Psylocke, she will actually be joining Sword of Duality, which currently sees Hawkeye teaming up with Cloak and Dagger. So starting with Season 5.5, Psylocke will be part of that team up. And I gotta say again, a really cool ability that will be gained for her as well. So you're essentially going to gain kind of like a 2-streak dagger attack, kind of like obviously representative of Cloak and Dagger. So for the Photon Dagger, it essentially will function as a dagger that you'll be able to throw at enemies to do damage, which is super duper cool, but it also has a boomerang component to it. So as you fire the shuriken, it'll then return back to you, damaging enemies that it travels through. The cool part is that it will also heal allies that it travels to, so that is pretty dang cool. And probably the coolest element is that the more targets that it hits on the way back, the more healing Psylocke will be able to actually get for herself. So that sounds extremely useful in terms of her ability to have a lot more survivability in battles. But as if all that wasn't cool enough, then she also has the Dark Energy Dagger that will be available to her as well, which basically seemingly is going to give you essentially a phased state, kind of like what Cloak and Dagger can do, but it's just another nice way to be able to like escape a Psylocke. So I feel like her dive component should benefit a lot from this new team up. Okay, so next up, let's shift our attention to the balance patch, because this of course is really the thing that is going to influence the experience of the game more than any of the cosmetics ever will. So buckle in, let's run through the list. Who's getting stronger, who's getting weaker? Let's find out. We kick things off in the Vanguard category with Emma Frost, where she's going to be experiencing a pretty nice, not major, but nice boost to her HP, as her base health will be going up from 550 to 600. So again, coupled with the previously mentioned team up or new team up for Chilling Assault, I genuinely think Emma Frost is going to be a very interesting character to keep an eye on for ranked play. Then Penny Parker, on the other hand, is actually going to be experiencing a reduction to her base health, going from the current 750 HP down to 700 health. The Thing will be experiencing a 1-2 Yancey Street punch boost, because first and foremost, the Stone Haymaker bonus damage that equals the enemy's max health per hit will be going up from 8% to 10%. So that's the bonus damage that he can do on the basis of whatever your character's or your enemy's health bar is. So the higher the health bar is, the more damage this would do. So right now it does about 8% of the opponent's damage or the opponent's health. It will do 10% after this update. So that should be a nice little bump up. In addition to that, and this one is quite substantial in my personal opinion, there's going to be an increase to the duration of the lingering anti-mobility field after the Yancey Street charge. So right now, when you do your charge up attack as the thing and you bump into the enemies and you do that little like knock up attack, they experience that anti-mobility field for 3 seconds. Well, after this update, that is going up all the way to 5 seconds, which to me sounds pretty dang substantial. So I'm very curious to see if the thing becomes extremely powerful and useful after this update. And Thor players, you'll be happy to know that you're getting a little bit more versatility to how you're going to be able to move, because they're changing up Storm Surge, which of course is that Mjolnir throwing hammer attack where you kind of like fly forwards. Up until now, you are unable to change the direction of movement. Starting with the new balance patch with Season 5.5, you will now be able to adjust your movement freely in any direction. So, should be quite handy there. Next, let's jump over to the category of duelists, kicking things off with Blade, where he's going to experience kind of a 1-2 punch in terms of one thing is getting buffed, one thing is getting nerfed. So first and foremost, his Ancestral Sword single hit damage is actually going up from the current 24 points of damage up to 26 damage. Then the Whirlwind slash single hit damage is also going up from the current 15 points of damage up to 16 points of damage. So not huge buffs, but should still hopefully be noticeable in terms of the amount of damage that he's able to output, while his Bloodline Awakening healing is actually going to be reduced from 35% down to 25%. Daredevil is a bit of an odd one because he's actually going to be losing one of his perks as the anchor character for Bestial Hunt. Yes, the team up between himself and the Punisher, interestingly enough, is not getting removed. It's actually staying in the game. However, they are removing the 25 extra bonus health points that Daredevil gets as the anchor character in that team up. So that will be getting removed after this new patch. Human Torch players, you're going to need to learn how to be a bit more precise with your damage, but if you can do that, then yes, he's technically getting a buff. So first and foremost, the Fire Cluster ability is going to have a bit of a reduced projectile spread, which means that obviously, again, you're going to need to be a little bit more precise with your actual casting of the ability. But the single cast projectile damage is actually going up from the current 5 points up to 5.5 points, and they're adjusting the maximum fall off damage of 60% incurring at 30 meters. That will now be happening at 20 meters. So I guess the idea there is to force you as Human Torch players to be a little bit more in the battle, but then also reward you with a little bit more damage if your shots are accurate. But that is not all, because his Blazing Blast ability is going to have a reduced single charge speed from the current 3 seconds down to 2.5 seconds, and it will actually increase the damage of that ability as well from the current 40 damage up to 45 damage. So again, I think they're trying to really, I guess, get around the idea of characters flying way up above and not really being involved in the battle as much. I think they're trying to like condense the battle and force the battles and the skirmishes to be more face-to-face. Phoenix players, you'll be happy to know that you're going to have a little bit of a higher survivability, because during the Ansong Inferno, which of course is her ultimate ability, her Phoenix summon health will actually shoot up from the current 400 HP up to 500 HP. So it basically will give you a little bit more time while you're up in the sky deciding where you want to go ahead and strike down. So that should be pretty useful in terms of actually getting value out of your ult. And since we're on the topic of ultimates, Psylocke players, prepare to see your ultimate a lot less frequently, or at least I think that's what they're going for, because her Dance of the Butterfly currently requires 2,800 points of energy in order to unlock, or in order to be able to execute. Well, starting with this new update, it is going all the way up to 3,400, an increase of 600 points, which is pretty substantial. I guess the one thing that is kind of a positive note with Psylocke is that you do have that new team up that she's going to be a part of, Sword of Duality, that hopefully will compensate for the nerf to her ult. Scarlet Witch players, rejoice! You're getting some pretty interesting tweaks to the character that should make her a little bit more powerful. So first and foremost, they are increasing the charge to the Chthonian burst, which is of course that kind of like dagger attack that she could throw. So the current speed with which it charges from Chaos Control, which is her primary fire, is at 0.08. That is going up to 0.1, so a 0.02%, or I guess a 2-point bump up. So that's definitely pretty cool, because I feel like that will make a difference in terms of how quickly you're able to actually activate the burst attacks, which means that you'll be able to probably burst enemies down quicker. So that is a W. In addition to that, speaking of quickness, they're also going to do a nice boost to her Dark Seal projectile. So currently that projectile, which is of course that like red orb that she shoots, and then it creates like that kind of half bubble sphere that if anyone walks through, gets stunned and takes some damage from. Currently that ability travels at 40 meters per second. That is going up to 60. So that is pretty dang exciting. And they're actually going to remove the spell field generation delay. So it should be a lot more kind of like instantaneous, I guess. So I feel like that could help you both in terms of being able to maybe escape a dangerous position as a Scarlet Witch player, while also maybe preventing a quick character like Spider-Man from escaping from you, so that you have a chance to get the final little bit of damage and eliminate them. And as if all that wasn't cool enough, they're also going to go ahead and increase the reality erasure, which of course is the ultimate ability, enemy pull speed during the casting from 2.4 to 3. So it kind of will like pull enemies quicker towards you, allowing you to hopefully guarantee a more likely successful ult. I can't believe that this is happening, but I rejoiced when I saw it. But Punisher is actually going to go ahead and experience a buff. It's a very small buff, but a buff nevertheless. Essentially what they're doing is they're bumping up his adjudication damage, which of course is the primary gun that he has, kind of like the AR style weapon, not the shotgun one. So currently that weapon does 19 damage. They're actually going to bump that up to 20. So sounds good to me. I feel like Punisher is an incredible character already in the current meta. So the fact that he's going to get this extra bump up, I'm very, very excited to see what that does to his damage. And then I'm absolutely petrified when I read this particular update for Wolverine, because they say that Logan's ultimate just got a whole lot more freedom to leap, slash, and surprise his foes from every angle. His last stand ability can now target walls for its landing point, which sounds horrifying. It's already an ultimate that is so freaking annoying to deal with, especially as someone who sometimes plays characters like Groot, getting grabbed by Wolverine and pulled across the map. Now you could go ahead and get grabbed and smacked against the wall as well. Like, this sounds like it is going to be nightmare fuel, especially when you also then consider the fact that so many parts of Marvel Rivals walls and maps are destructible, that I feel like this is going to open up a whole lot of problems in terms of just getting stuck against walls or broken items and things like that. So I could most certainly see them either reverse this or have to continuously patch the map even more. So now that we're done with the duelist, let's move along to the strategist, starting things off with Gambit, who is going to take a little bit longer to hit his ultimate, because that will be going up from the current 4,300 points of energy up to 4,500. Then we have a very similar nerf coming to Invisible Woman, where her Invisible Boundary ability, or her ultimate ability, will also be going up from 4,300 up to 4,500. Loki players, you'll be happy to know that his clones will actually be getting a buff in the form of increased damage and healing for the Loki doppelgangers. That will be going up from the current 80% up to 90%, so a 10% increase could be substantial. Next up, we have Luna Snow, who I think is probably the second most interesting character in terms of changes. She actually is going to get a new ability altogether, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But first, let's talk about an interesting change that is coming to her absolute freeze ball attack, or the absolute, I think it was called Absolute Zero, I want to say is maybe the name of it. But essentially, it's that ice ball that she can throw in order to freeze enemies. Well, that is going to be experiencing an increase in how quickly it will be able to be cast. So they're going to actually go ahead and reduce the startup time for that particular ability. But then on top of that, they're also increasing how quickly that ability travels from the current 60 meters per second up to 80. So it should be flying a lot quicker. And if you're watching the Marvel Rivals update from last week, you know that us as a community started to discuss whether or not this was something that was happening, because one of the actual skin showcase videos for her last week's costume seemed like she was using this ability a lot quicker than usual. Well, guess what, community? We were right, and we can see with these new balanced patch notes that it is indeed happening. The other thing that's happening is that Luna is going to go on ahead and gain a new ability altogether. She can now apply #1 idol to herself, which is separate from her share the stage ability, which is the one where like you can kind of like cast it onto someone, and as you're healing someone, that other character would also get healed. Well, if you go ahead and cast #1 idol onto Luna, 10% of the healing that you do to your allies will actually be converted into healing for Luna herself, which means that you're going to have just increased survivability for the character herself. But in addition to that, and I feel like this is the more interesting part, is that she will also gain a 10% healing boost while that is active. So she'll be able to actually heal quicker, but also increased a damage boost by 10% as well. So again, that seems like a pretty useful ability change for Luna. I feel like Luna players are going to be very, very happy to see all these changes. Now, Rocket players, on the other hand, you guys are probably going to be a little bit upset, because similarly to a lot of the other support characters, you probably have noticed a trend here that a lot of the balance notes have focused on going ahead and bumping up how quickly you can get support ultimates or strategist ultimates. The same thing will be happening for Rocket, as his ultimate currently takes 4,000 energy to charge up. That will be going up to 4,300. And then Ultron players, you're going to be pretty excited, because it seems like they're going to be bumping up your ability to heal. I guess maybe the goal here is to try to make Ultron more viable as part of a team of 2 strategists on the team, instead of the typical 3 strategist team comp that you need to run when you have an Ultron player. So first and foremost, the imperative patch ability can now allow you to deploy 2 drones, allowing you to support 2 allies at once. They did not clarify whether or not you'd be able to actually have both drones attached to 1 ally to kind of like double the healing speed, I guess. So that'll be something that will need some clarification. But they did also go ahead and say that his imperative firewall ability will now require a target with imperative patch to go ahead and use. However, after using it, Ultron will be gaining a 65 bonus health. The target and the nearby allies will all receive 50 bonus health, so that's pretty awesome. And then on top of that, the selected ally that I assume you would have selected with imperative patch, aka the little drone ability, will then go ahead and gain a 20% movement speed and a 10% damage boost. So that sounds exceptionally useful, being able to either boost the movement of characters that are slow right now, or further boost the movement of characters that are already extremely quick, like Spider-Man or Black Panther, let's say, and giving them an additional 20% movement speed and 10% damage boost. Sounds really, really powerful. So I feel like Ultron could be a sneaky, really, really exciting character in this new patch. But we do need to kind of pump the brakes, because there is a little bit of bad news for Ultron players, and that is that similarly to the vast majority of the other strategists, his ultimate will also take longer to activate, going up from the current 3,700 points of energy required up to 4,000 points of energy required. And no, we're not done yet. Rocket Raccoon fans, you'll be happy to know that with the drop of Season 5.5, this skin right here will be debuting as well. It is titled Rocket of the Rafters, and it actually first appeared in the Marvel Rivals Infinity comic, which is why it's one of those comics that if you have Marvel Unlimited and you are reading, you can probably spot some future skins in there, which is super duper cool. So this is one of said skins, a pretty neat design. Looking forward to adding this one to my personal collection. As of right now, at the time of this recording, I tried to wait as late as possible to see if they would publish a trailer for it. They haven't yet. I'm guessing they will be tomorrow, but I do really like the design for this one. And as someone who plays Rocket, I will definitely go ahead and pick this one up. The other cool thing is that this is actually going to be the beginning of a new theme of skins from that same very comic, by the way, because the folks over at XOX Leak have confirmed that this is going to be the Thieves Guild theme, and they went ahead and shared the design and confirmation that Cloak and Dagger would be getting a skin based on that look as well, which looks pretty dang awesome. And I know it's a big deal because a lot of people have been wanting Cloak to have a design with the leg design. So there you go. That will be coming out sometime very soon as well. And no, we're still not done yet. We also got the confirmation that just 1 week after the start of season 5.5, we have the return of Jeff's Winter Splash Festival. Now, of course, for those of you that didn't get a chance to play in Jeff's Winter Splash Festival last year, this is essentially their Christmas event, their holiday event that they do during this time of the year. It is coming back. They also have the return of the game mode of that it's kind of like mimicking essentially Splatoon, where you're playing as Jeff and you're kind of like firing two different colors from the water splash ability, and you're trying to cover as much terrain as possible. Whichever team covers the most amount of terrain would be victorious. So that mode is coming back, except this time they're actually going to introduce 3 separate classes of Jeffs. So that should be interesting in terms of just the complexity of the game, instead of just being one style of character. In addition to that, it's actually going to be introducing a new map, which is titled Jeffland. They didn't actually showcase that one yet, but I'm hopeful it'll be a lot of fun. They did confirm that we're going to get some new Jeff's Winter Splash chromas. So if you like the original Jeff Winter Festival skin and you want to go ahead and get some of the chroma variants for that skin, that will be available in the shop. So that's pretty dang exciting. I feel like it's also kind of a soft confirmation that we can definitely expect to see a lot of those previous winter special skins, like for example Groot, probably will be back in the shop at some point with the start of Jeff's Winter Special or Winter Festival. But then probably the most exciting thing about this whole announcement is that they went ahead and just revealed a bunch of the other skins that we can expect to debut as part of this special event. And they are absolutely freaking gorgeous. I genuinely think this is like the best set of skins that they have ever shown. I'm probably biased because I love Christmas time, but I just think they look incredible. So first and foremost, we have Daredevil here in his ugly Christmas sweater with the I'm not Daredevil, with an actual unmasked look. So that is definitely quite unique. I also like that he's got the candy canes for the batons. So that is definitely a pretty nice attention to detail. Then we have the Ice Dancer costume for Cloak and Dagger, which looks very, very beautiful. This kind of almost kind of Luna inspired. There's like a Luna skin that kind of reminds me a little bit of this design as well. Looks really cool. Again, Cloak and Dagger players, I'm sure you'll be pretty stoked to add that. Then I love this one right here. This is the Ice Golem version of Penny Parker. I just love the concept of turning the mech suit into a snowman. So clever, so cool. Cannot wait to see this one in action and what it actually looks like. Then we have the, in my opinion, best looking Squirrel Girl skin they've ever done. It seems like this is going to be an absolute knock out of the park. They definitely did cook with this one. So this is going to be, I believe it's just going to be titled the Festive Squirrel Girl, I believe is the name of this skin. And then we have a nice little 1-2 punch here. At first, when I saw this one, I was like, oh, is that the Punisher? Because as a Punisher player, I was really excited. I was like, this is awesome. But then I realized, nope, this is actually the Nutcracker for Star-Lord skin. And it looks incredible. I kind of wish we would have gotten this type of skin for Punisher. This one's really freaking cool. If you're a Star-Lord player, you're going to be eating well during the holiday season. And then finally, last but certainly not least, for this year's festive Christmas/holiday season skins, we have the festive version of the Winter Soldier, who looks very cool. I love the little Christmas lights on the metallic arm as well. Just a really nice attention to detail. Again, if you love getting in the holiday spirit, this seems like it's going to be a really fun set of skins that will be dropping. And then again, remember, this is all coming to the game literally 1 week after this Thursday's update. So December 18th is when we can go ahead and expect the beginning of Jeff's Winter Special Festival. Now, they did not confirm whether or not all of these skins that we just looked at are going to be in the shop. I would not expect them to all be in the shop. I think they're probably going to do some sort of an event pass that will allow you to probably unlock, let's say, one of them for free, and then the others as part of like a premium path or something like that. But again, a lot of exciting stuff to be on the lookout for beyond just this week's already extremely exciting update for just the new character, the new balance patch notes. But even the week after this is extremely exciting with all of the winter stuff that we can expect as well. But it doesn't even stop there. They also went ahead and teased something quite mysterious. They specifically called it a mystery burger. Simply go ahead and visit the Pimp Test Kitchen in the Times Square map, and there will be a burger in there that you'll be able to consume that then go on ahead and provide you some sort of a surprising result. Now, I don't know what the result is, but if I had to go ahead and bet what it might be, I have a feeling like it probably shrinks down your character, because obviously this is inspired by Hank Pym, aka Ant-Man. I feel like it will either shrink your character or enlarge your character. I feel like that's kind of the idea they're going for here. The most exciting element of this is the fact that this could be a possible small teaser for Ant-Man coming to the game, maybe sooner rather than later. I've already said this plenty of times before in these update videos. I think he's one of the most exciting possible characters that we could get in this game, just because think of all the cool possibilities of being able to like shrink down or Ant-Man size, or go ahead and go turn into Giant Man for your ultimate. Like, I just think that it's going to be a really cool character whenever he inevitably does get to join the game. Okay, so that was all the official stuff, but we still have other things to talk about, because the folks over at XOX Leak have gone ahead and started to drop leaks for things that haven't even been confirmed. So everything we talked about up until now was literally all from the official source Marvel Rivals themselves. The next few pieces of information that we have are all coming to us from XOX Leak. So first and foremost, they confirmed that there's going to be a new event on the way titled The Seeds of the Gardener. There will be a premium pass to that particular component. However, they do not clarify when it will be debuting nor how much it will cost. I wonder if this could be the name of the winter event that we could expect. Maybe that's where we're going to see some of these skins that we just looked at a little earlier. But there is a new event that has been found in the files by that team, and it is on the way at some point in the future, and we have an idea for its name. Then they went ahead and revealed a handful of new skins that are also on the way, including new skins under the Grandmaster's Champions theme, and they will be a new skin for the Human Torch, Moon Knight, Angela, and Emma Frost. So if you play any of those characters, or maybe all four of those characters, you have a new skin to look forward to, hopefully in the somewhat near future. Usually when they find these leaks, these skins tend to debut within a few months after them finding this. So again, hopefully we'll find out what these are sooner rather than later. Then they went ahead and confirmed that we will indeed get a new skin for Lady Loki, which will be one of the Collector's Champion skins, and it will be a collector's collection. Now, I don't know if that's related to the one that we just talked about, the 4 skins for the Grandmaster's Champion, or if that's separate to the Collector's Champion. So we'll see if there might be even like 2 sub-themes of like the Grandmaster Champion collection versus the Collector's Champion collection. So again, no clarity on that front, but the good thing is that if you're a Loki fan, if you love Lady Loki, if you love that version of the character, it seems like you'll probably be able to purchase a skin for Loki that will be Lady Loki. And listen, I know what some of you guys will probably type at this point, and that is, Blitz, why is this not so specific? Like, we don't actually know what the skins are, and that's a valid point, but fear not, XOX League did go ahead and specifically reveal skins that are coming to the game that are based on existing designs. So first and foremost, we got the confirmation that soon Iron Man will be getting a skin based on his iconic classic Mark I design, which is someone who loves that look. I cannot wait to see what Marvel Rivals' version of this skin looks like. And then, if you're a fan of Capwolf, yes, that is an actual thing, Captain America as a werewolf, that has been confirmed to be coming to the game very soon as well. Once again, by XOX Leak. And then finally, when it comes to the leaks from XOX Leak, they do also confirm that our next Twitch drop will be for Iron Fist. So if you love free skins and if you've been obtaining them via the Twitch drops, you'll be excited to know that the next one is expected to be for Iron Fist. Whew, that was a lot of stuff to cover. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This video took ages to put together, to gather all of this detail, all of it together for all of you guys to go ahead and consume easily. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please take a quick moment and leave a like. It really does help out a ton. Please consider sharing the video with a fellow Marvel Rivals fan to get them caught up on everything related to Marvel Rivals for this exciting new week. Always super duper excited to go ahead and get a new character in the game, and it seems like they continue to deliver in a big way, where every time that we get a new character, there's an exciting new update around the character as well. Let me know what is the thing that you're most looking forward to for the future of Marvel Rivals. Of course, in addition to that, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Peace out. See y'all later, alligators. Bye-bye, everybody.